Wednesday, December 13th, and we're going to get into a love poem today. Let's do the thing from there. Idioms homework I'm going to talk about. Ugly sweater I went through and gave you guys credit for that one. Although if you pay attention to the announcements today, it's going to get real confusing, but we'll talk about that later. Just to remind you as far as the idioms things goes, I'm just going to keep talking about the directions each day until you turn it in. And then you guys are going to get all grumpy with me when kids don't do well. They're like, did you read the directions? You're like, you never told me. So here's me telling you about the directions again to make sure you read the directions, like the one direction that says you can't sit on the back of your chair unless you have over 20 points, especially when you keep not paying back your teacher, but not that would ever happen in this class. And then again, due Friday, then we should be good to go from there. So you won't be able to sit there when she comes back, because you can't block people, but right now they're still checking out the book, so you have a moment to enjoy it. And you can just sit there and be like, it's so much fun. I did have a kid ask me if he could do a digital version of it, and the answer is yeah. If you want to do Brovicast instead of doing your draw art, I'm fine with that one. And so something like that, where you're doing it as a Brovicast kind of thing, or digital art, I'm absolutely fine with that too. I have nothing against being creative along those lines, and so that would be fine. Even if you have fake things in there, like, you know, a coconut's not a type of nut. Technically, neither is a peanut.
Wait, I never knew that. Wait, so
like strawberries aren't actually a berry.
Yeah.
You is going to be a pronoun. That's not a noun, so you'd be okay. Hi, Reed.
My life is a lie. I did not know that nuts were fruits.
They're not.
Wait, it says fruits.
Yeah. You might not know this, but sometimes 7th graders are dumb.
Oh, I thought you made that.
No, that was not me. That was a kid.
What grade did you get?
Well, I mean, most of it's correct, except, I mean, the blank background a little bit. I'll probably get that a 9. The fruits, I'm not going to knock you on that one. If you don't know what nut and fruits are different things. Some kids just don't. And then again, don't really care about the art as long as you just fill it in and make it look pretty, then you should be good. No questions as far as that part goes. Again, you can go above and beyond and get your extra credit.
I'm just saying trying that one.
Oh, on this one, one, because he did make the corrections, and when I was talking to him in class, we made me happy that he filled in the whole picture, and so it looked like he put effort into it. Plus, that little pig's adorable. Let's give people a chance to get points. We're going to pause this so we don't have to listen to kids talk, and then we'll come back and you can listen to me. And we're back. Go those kids. Reed, did you have a question?
I think my question's been answered.
Problem solved. Then, let's see, for you guys, this is not you, that was from our regular class, they showed them a thing. This is for you guys. Look on, I think, the back side of white paper.
Yeah.
You should have a poem called Annabel Lee. It's about time we do a love poem. So we are going to finally go into a love poem.
Love is a lie, love's not real anymore.
But I will tell you, it is a Mr. Proviak level love poem, if that helps you figure things out. I probably don't do very many love poems, but this is one that qualifies as worthy for me. How many stanzas in our poem?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How many volunteers are we going to have to pick? 6. Get you guys figuring things out. So we're going to go through. On there are a handful of kind of weird, wonky words, so make sure you're prepared when we get to them from there, and we can try to help you out. I'll try to alternate back and forth between boy people and girl people, and we'll go from there. Wiggling your finger at me is not going to try and help your chances whatsoever. But we're going to give stanza 1 to Ricardo, and then we'll go... It's over there. Yeah. And then stanza 2 will go to Callie. And then stanza 3, Reed. And then stanza 4, Summer. And then stanza 5, Alex.
Let's freaking go.
Stanza 6. I only have one brave girl left. Reese it is! Wait,
Are
you sure? Because last time we did this, then like you kind of...
Wait, can I read it first just to make sure I'm okay?
Mate.
Can I go ahead?
Aw, that was awful. You
Yeah,
got a horrible person.
remember I let Julian take my spot.
That was nice of you. You shouldn't have let Julian take your spot.
Well, I care about it.
Make sure you've written your initials next to yours so that I don't have to come back and make fun of you, because if you forget, I have a kid who's going to jump in and take it for you. Right, okay? If someone forgets, you're going to jump in and take it. There you. Who's stanza 1? Stanza 2? See? Oh,
I was reading through it.
Stanza 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on this one, we're not reading through the whole poem. We're just going to do one stanza at a time, because if not, it kind of gives things away and kids get all yelly at me. And I'm already tired of you guys being yelly at me. Storky, not Storky. Oh my goodness, sorry. Derby, brain issue.
What is-
Me.
On the second to last, on mine, my 6, number 6, 40.
The.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Oh, the one before the moon never
Fletcher?
before the moon never.
Well,
Sepulcher.
Oh,
Did you say
Reciprocal.
That's not
wait,
weird.
say it again?
Sepulcher.
Sepulcher.
If it helps, this person has to say it before you.
Okay.
Okay, so then I can help you out a little bit on that one.
So,
And then so we can go through and help you out. Whoever has stanza 2 is seraph.
Sarah.
Like the word sheriff, but without an H. So it's a seraph. Stanza 3. This
Kingsman.
word.
Kingsman.
Alright. Are there any other big words that I think? Oh, this word?
Covenant.
Coveted. I mean, you can pronounce it British like coveted. But that makes it kind of weird. This word?
Or
Just check. Okay. Hi, Reed. What's up?
In my stanza, it says,
It does.
set her up in, is that sepulcher?
How do we pronounce it?
sepulcher.
Huh?
Sepulcher.
Sepulcher.
Uh-huh. Yes, I'm sure that's super helpful. All right. Stanza 1 person. We ready? So all we're going to do is stanza 1 to start. We're going to figure out where it's taking place, who's in it, how they feel, stuff like that. Although you should probably already know how. Oh, by the way, the author, Edgar Allan Poe.
I love that guy.
Oh,
cat.
It's a cat.
So we should recognize this author, because what other story did he do for us?
Black cat.
Black Cat that we did earlier from there. And then some of you guys maybe did Edgar Allan Poe when you guys were back at Sand Creek, and if you guys did like Telltale Heart or something like that. But
No.
if not, then- so when I say it's a love poem, it's an Edgar Allan Poe love poem.
So it isn't.
Well, it is definitely, it says love multiple times throughout the whole thing, and there is definitely love. Technically, Black Cat was also a love story.
Yeah, he loved his cat so much.
He
that
did love his cat, and he loved his wife to a point.
He
A
killed them
really,
both.
really sharp point.
Oh.
If you love something, keep it in your house forever.
No, we are not, unfortunately. It's an 8th grade poem, so I'm not allowed to. They called dibs on it, so I can't. Ricardo! Stanza 1. Okay.
It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me.
Nicely done. I will tell you, as we go through here and I read after you guys, I will be reading it slightly different than you, because there are certain emotional things and voice things I'm supposed to do. So try not to freak out too much as I read some of the stanzas and you get all giggly at me. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. Such happiness already. Already. Where's our poem taking place?
Kingdom by
So we have a kingdom, and it's down by the sea. We have 2 main characters so far.
I know
Annabel Lee.
Annabel Lee
And the guy.
and me.
Is the guy Edgar Allan Poe?
No,
Yes.
no. Me.
No.
It's a speaker.
Again, it is the speaker. So far, does he have a name?
No.
So we're going to call him Dude, because that seems like a good name.
Oh,
So we have Dude, and we have Annabel Lee.
Dude.
And how do Dude and Annabel Lee feel about each other?
They love each other.
A lot. To the point where, like, Dude wakes up in the morning and he's like, oh, I love Annabel Lee. And Annabel Lee wakes up and she goes, yum, yum, yum. Oh, I love that dude. And they just love each other, and this bubble hearts above them, and life is good and happy, and Storky is confused by love.
No, because we called the guy from Black Cat Dude as well.
It's because a lot of times Edgar Allan Poe does not ever put names in his stories, so I always just use the word dude.
All dude.
They're all dude. Different dudes. There's a lot of dudes in the world. This is different dude. And then so we have the line where it says that a maiden there lived whom you may know. Any idea what that's telling us about her?
She's famous.
There you go. That she is a very popular, famous person. If you can think like movie star, or you can think like TikTok star, something where everybody knows who this person is. So dude is a lucky guy because this famous girl is in love with him and thinks he's the best thing in the world. Then we get to the very first line. It was many and many a year ago. So this is what's called an allusion, which means a reference to another written work. This is a reference to a type of children's story. Do you know what the reference would be?
Harry Potter.
Peter Pan.
Fairy tale.
Fairy tales, because how do fairy tales start?
Once upon a time.
So, and fairy tales are supposed to be happy stories about princesses and princes, and sometimes there's a dragon, but it's happy and there's love and things are good. And how do fairy tales end?
Happily ever after.
Remember that also. Our poem is going to end with a happily ever after because this is a happy fairy tale about love, no matter how many squinty eyes you may give me. And so we have the fact that they love each other. They're in this kingdom by the sea. She's famous and everything is great. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Just foreshadowing.
Stanza 2. Let's continue with nothing but happiness in our happy love poem. Stanza 2.
I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. With a love that winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me.
This is where it's going to get slightly more confusing, but we'll get there. So here it says, I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. So here's where we start introducing fun stuff.
Angel.
Before we get to the fun stuff, let's explain it's not as creepy as you might think. When it says, I was a child and she was a child, we're not talking like we people. We're not like, I was 7 and she was 8 and I had Play-Doh. No, we're not going there. So this was written by an old person. And old people have a different idea of what a child is. So my question to you is, any guess as to what age they're going to be?
2.
So yeah, we're going to talk late teens, maybe up to 20, but more the late teens-ish, because that's considered like happy, pure love. Listen, if the poem said, I with my walker and she with her cane, and I went to hug her and our wrinkles went together like Velcro, and you'd be like, because nobody likes old people. They're just lucky. They have to learn to live with this. But young people, they're adorable and happy and innocent, and life is good, and that's what we're doing. Because remember, fairy tale, now you're going to make me regret teaching you this foreshadowing word, and happiness, and everything is good, and they're innocent and happy.
Learning from the plot, you get much. Everything.
Cornelius, no.
From a baby, they have to be fed. They can't start
Are we talking about old people?
I said I love old people because they're cute. Like, did you see Grandma Bainey?
Who is that?
Do not say about Miss Beanie.
Hi, Callie.
So nothing stays gold, as we learned in previous poems.
That is true.
If you keep saying innocent, are they gonna not be innocent by the end of the poem?
Cornelius Snow and Ballad of Songs and Sings.
We are in stanza 2. So we're just going to focus on stanza 2, which is all about happiness. We're not going to worry about other stanzas yet. Stork?
Well, it has to take a twist because this sounds like a fluffy cloud poem. You don't like fluffy cloud poems.
Well, fluffy cloud poems have no plot. This has a plot. The plot is obviously about
Plot would be boring
death.
unless you have a twist.
love.
Kill it.
Goodness gracious. Ramos?
I bet
One of them's
20
gonna
bucks
die.
she is like somehow swooped away and died. I bet 20 bucks.
You guys are such awful children.
I'll take that $20.
I'll bet you.
I bet you 50.
With, stop reading ahead, you horrible.
I agree with you. Wait, I do agree though.
So, this line, we loved with a love that was more than love. Dude is trying to point out how much love he and Annabel Lee have. You're going to have to use your imagination for a minute. Imagine that there is a love ladder that you travel as you go through life. And like at the very basic level of love is going to be like the love that you have with like siblings, brother and sister, because your parents tell you you have to love them, which is why as soon as I said you love your brother and sister, 4 of you gave me scrunchy face, is because you're like, Exactly, that's why they're at the bottom. Or side eye. And then above them on the love ladder is going to be your friends, because that's like a brother or sister you get to choose. That's like my sister from another mister. And so that's going to be the next step up. Above them is going to be your parents, because they brought you into this life, and they can take you out of it if your parents threaten you enough. So they're like, I'm not higher than them, then I'm gonna. So they get to be higher. Above your parents,
That's you.
there's going to be that
Government.
special someone that
Like
someday
cows.
you get to give winky winky eye to, or
President
take a
Biden.
glove and you get to toss your glove at, whatever your particular thing may be. Above that special someone is like fairy tale movie love, where they make movies about it. But Dude and Annabel Lee, their love goes up to this highest love, puts a ladder on it, and they both scamper. Their love is so strong, when they stare at each other, little heart bubbles just form above them. And Dude goes, Annabelle.
Oh my goodness.
And then a little heart bubble goes, and just forms above their heads and starts floating. That's how much love. Again, love poem. Nothing but happiness and love. And
This is why
then
he's a teacher.
we bring in winged seraphs.
Angel.
Are angels. So it turns out seraphs, and I didn't know this, I had to look it up. According to Bible-y things, there are supposed to be rankings of angels. Like
Yeah.
they're not all equal. And so you have your basic level
Dummies.
angels. And then you have the ones that are considered a rank above them, and they are called seraphs. Seraphs were supposedly made of pure love. If you were to take like love and you squish it together and go, out of this love pops a little seraph. And when they flap around, like literally their wings make the sound of love, 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 love. Because that's how much love is in them. They just have love it's all they know is love. But these angels who are flapping up around in heaven, doing their little love thing.
Satan.
All of a sudden, these love bubbles from Dude and Annabel Lee keep coming up in front of them and going, love, love, love. And Annabel Lee and Dude's love is so strong, the angels realize their love is stronger than the love they are made out of. Which means they feel an emotion for the first time.
That's crazy.
Coveting. Do you guys know what covet means?
Sadness.
Not sadness, but a good guess.
Melancholy.
Jealousy. So coveting is when you are jealous of someone else. Our angels realize these humans have more love than they do, and they begin to get angry.
Angels get angry?
And here's where it gets confusing, as Reese points out, when you go, Ms. Roviak, angels are good creatures. They can't feel things like
Satan.
anger and emotion. But here's the issue. That's because you have never had this much love. Dude is pointing out their love was so strong, creatures made of love looked at their love and went, dang, I wish I had some of that. That's how strong their love is. But that leads to a problem,
They make
which
more.
goes to stanza 3, and it turns out we get to introduce an issue into our happy, happy love poem. Hallie?
Did the angels kill Annabel Lee?
Yeah, they do.
No, look,
They do in the
they're right there. Everything's good.
Remember, if I was mad about her
Stanza
dying,
3.
I'd get my
Chilling
$20.
and killing.
Go for it, 3.
You have to say the word. If it doesn't start in 3 seconds, I'm
Are you reading out loud?
1,
Who stanza 3?
1,
Today?
This was the reason.
2.
Can you please stop talking?
No, because if you don't start, I'm gonna start.
And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, filling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea.
Nicely done. So here's where we're going to find out that things have changed a little bit. Crawford, they have a thing for you in the library whenever you get a chance.
It's a ticket.
Yeah.
All right. It says, and this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. Again, we've introduced a few confusing bits I can help you with. So here,
That means so.
So a sepulcher, big fancy word, but if it helps, we have studied a word earlier that means the exact same thing, was also a big word. Way back during the caterpillar poem, I introduced you to a word that is a
Mausoleum.
synonym. Mausoleum. What is a mausoleum?
Or you
It's
like
like where dead people go.
Nicely done. It's an above ground burial place for people. So find out that apparently, what also. So, let's back up this part then. So she gets put into the sepulcher. For her to be put into the sepulcher, what has happened to her?
She died.
So you don't get put into a sepulcher unless you have died. That's sort of what has to happen. And so here we're going to find out why she died and what led up to it. So all of a sudden, love poem, happiness, and now all of a sudden, she gets put into a sepulcher and she's dead. According to poem, what is it that kills her?
Wind.
And this is where our wind comes in. And if you're thinking, Mr. Broviac, was it like a hurricane and she was walking along and the wind picked her up and threw her into it? No, it was not a hurricane wind that killed her. How does the wind kill her? So this is where we're going to have to use our imagination for a moment. I have looked into the poem and used my imagination. Here's how I imagined it happened. It might not be completely accurate, but how old are Annabel Lee and Dude?
Like 13.
Teenagers. Do teenagers make good choices?
Yes.
Time out. Wow, did you answer that quickly? As soon as I said, do teenagers make bad choices, you guys like, oh God, yes they do. That was a very fast answer. All right, time back in. Not all teenagers, but look around. And so here's what I imagine. So what season do we imagine it is?
Winter.
Why winter?
Because
cold, chilly.
It has a cold, chilling wind.
it's chilly.
So you have Dude and Annabel Lee. Dude probably came over to see Annabel Lee in her house in this kingdom place. He was like, hey, Annabel Lee, you and I should go for a walk down by the beach because it's all romantic. Mama and Papa Lee would look over and go, hey, it's cold out. You need to wear a coat if you're going to go for a walk along the beach because it's chilly. Dude, though, being a teenage boy, goes, you don't need a coat. My love will keep you warm.
Sure
And
thing,
Annabel Lee
teacher.
goes, oh, dude. And she thumps his chest. And he goes, okay. And he puts his arm around her and they take off walking along the beach. And then all of a sudden the wind starts to blow. She's like, it's really kind of cold out. And he's like, it's okay, baby. I'll just love you more. And she goes, oh, dude. And they keep walking along. And then the wind kicks up even more. And she's like, no, I don't feel so well. And he's like, I'll just love you more. And she's like,
That's
no,
not how it
I don't
works.
think it's going to work anymore, dude. She's like, I don't feel. And then all of a sudden, she dies and her kinsmen come. You know what kinsmen are?
Her like kin. Her like family.
Her family. And so if we say that her kinsmen are high-born, what is
High
that?
ranking.
There you go. Rich, royal, something to remember. We all know her because she's famous. So apparently her family is some kind of rich family. So that her rich family comes and steals her away and puts her into this sepulcher. And that means she is now dead. Now,
Yay!
what is it that killed her?
Wind.
The wind. Here's our issue with Duke. He's not going to take this very well because he loves her more than he's loved anything. And now that his girl has died, plus who might be kind of responsible for her death? So he doesn't take this information very well, which is going to take us to stanza 4. And we're going to find out that things change.
Next period.
Matei? The windy bits? You are right.
It could be even summer or autumn.
Could be, but here I'm going to go with that. To be cold enough to kill her, you probably got to go into that wintry time. Tomorrow, we're going to find out what exactly happens and what makes this poem so memorable and why we should wear our adorable sweaters all day that just are so great.
So much that